All right, we are live. Happy Easter and Passover to everybody who celebrates. It is Sunday, April 9th, 2023, right on the dot at 8 o'clock, 8:01 now. I'm joined tonight by everyone's favorite, Sean. Sean, how are you doing tonight? Have you finally released your emotions about WrestleMania?
I mean, I did that last week, but if you want to remind me of what a miserable day I had like last week, I mean, I guess,
I
whatever.
mean, Eric already did that for you, but you never know. You could have been stewing on it still for the next week, seeing how much of a
I
failure it
I,
was.
I don't watch WWE anymore now. Like they had me back briefly, but I'm not watching anymore. So
I don't know one. Why in the hell does Vince McMahon have like the weirdest mustache now? Like, is this his evil twin, like evil Vince?
you're
Like,
assuming that he wasn't evil to begin with. So I
I
don't know
mean,
why.
that's
I don't know
fair.
why there would be an evil Vince. Like Vince has always been a piece of shit. So
That's fair. That's
it's
fair.
It's
But
not just
either way,
it's not just a character he plays on TV. It's
either way, Sean. Besides that, what else has been going on? How has the adventures in Red Dead been going? How is the quiet off season going for you? I mean, we're almost to like the super ultra dead period of football.
I need a third string punter to get a DUI or something. That would really help for
Just to
traffic
have
on the
something for
channel.
your channel.
Yeah, I need a third string punter to get a DUI so I can get
There,
on and talk about the dangers of driving under the influence and how Brent is gonna save him with Jesus and whatnot and give him a second chance or whatever. But no, it's for the most part it's been a we're only in April, but it's there's been injuries and there's been off-season surgeries and spring practice, and we got commitments, so things are picking up a little bit. But it's just
yeah,
it's just one of those off seasons where you come off of a 6 and 7 season, and like the extra uh, attention you would get covering this team goes down a little bit. It's just the nature of the beast. So there's a lot of casuals who have given up on Oklahoma for the moment, but if Brent has like a big year this year, they'll all come back. So
yeah. Well, and I mean that's also the nature too. Like if Brent's keeping a tight ship and everything, we hopefully knock on wood, we shouldn't expect any trouble or anything at this point. I
well,
mean,
someone's going to do something stupid.
oh yeah,
I mean technically there was some sort of thing at Campus Corner where some players were involved, but it wasn't like their fault or anything. So I don't think there's any issues there. So like
yeah.
like it wasn't their fault, but they were like cops got involved and there was some police who got like accidentally roughed up or something. So anyway, Jaden Gibson's still on the team. Let's just say, and among a few others. So it's so we're all good there. But
It was probably a big nothing burger and just wrong place, wrong time then.
well, no, I either the person that was involved was it was like a third part. This is like weeks ago at this point.
Oh
So
yeah.
no, and so it's not like this is new, but it's just was it another player? It's like if it was anyone of note, guys, we would have heard about it by now. So
They'd probably be gone at this point, if
yeah,
anything.
or if it was a walk on that nobody gives a shit about, then
Right. Right.
walk-ons
Right.
are meant to be fodder.
Yep. Yep. Before we dive a little bit into spring, kind of like spring practice, because the spring game is next weekend. As well as
No, it's not.
yeah, it is.
It's on the 15th.
Next weekend. It's not this weekend, it's next weekend.
We're not even out of this weekend. Just
Regardless, we still can preview it a little bit because I don't think too much is going to change from now until the spring game starts. Like there's just not. But before that, you mentioned it a little bit with Eric, and I've seen you ruffling some feathers on it. I need to know, Sean, is UConn a blue blood, and why are they a blue blood, and why is your answer going to be yes? And furthermore, are you ready to fire Porter Moser now that pretty much the entire team has exited?
First of all, I learned you can't double barrel two questions like that. That is like piss poor interviewing right there.
Well, I'm
So
sorry.
all of my instructors at Full Sail would fail you on the spot for your interviewing one on one. So So you double barreled me 2 questions. So I shouldn't answer either because they have nothing to do with each other. And
Right.
it's
Well, I mean, they do kind of relate with it. It all March.
I've completely forgotten what you've asked already at this point because I might you tried to pull me 2 different ways and I'm not gonna.
Well, I'll go backwards then. What do you, March is basketball season's over for the most part for college. UConn won their 5th title. Are they in the ring now of Blue Bloods?
Sure, why not?
Just a term?
Sure, why not?
Were you surprised that they did that? I mean,
no,
I wasn't.
Not really.
I figured that San Diego State and FAU was a great story, but they weren't going to beat actual schools that dedicate time and resources to basketball. That was my thought on it. I'm not surprised that it was what it was. Now, flip side of it, concerning Oklahoma, is it time that OU really starts evaluating Porter? Because a couple months ago, I would have said, no, give him 1 more year. But now with the entire team exiting and you're literally starting from scratch again, is it time to explore some options? Do you think he even wants to be here?
Another double-barreled question there.
No, that one's not a double-barrel question because that's all related to Porter.
You asked 2 questions at the end there. Like you said, explore options and does he want to be here?
Okay, well, should OU start?
I'm gonna learn you some stuff here.
Okay,
that ask questions properly. I don't know Porter Moser, so I assume he wants to be here because he's still technically the coach. So if he didn't want to be here, he could have taken the Notre Dame job. So and he didn't. So should they explore options? Sure, why not?
Would you say his seat is hot now at this point, or?
Well, it's not cool. It's not cold. I can tell you that right now.
I mean, I guess my question too is as well, are we just waiting it out till we get to the SEC? Like, is it one of those instances as well?
I don't know why that would make a difference at this point. It's not like the SEC is some dominant basketball conference.
I don't either, but it does look a lot different of you have a winning record versus something like in the Big 12 for it, where if you just keep constantly hitting the meat grinder.
Like the whole, like college basketball is broken by almost beyond repair, like especially the men's side. And a lot of people want to blame the transfer portal. And it's like, that's part of it. But college basketball was got like a death by 1,000 cuts in 2005 when the NBA decided to do the one and done rule. That's not a college basketball rule. That's an NBA rule.
Right.
The NBA decides when they allow kids to be eligible to play in the NBA. And you look at the draft, the mock drafts, you're seeing more and more G League kids and kids from other leagues and Europe. And I mean, Europe has been the norm for a little bit, but like the top 10 this year, maybe half are college guys, maybe. So the best players don't all necessarily go to college anymore. And if they do, they're there for a year. You don't build teams. You don't build lasting there isn't a lasting memory for people who casually follow the sport. Like you can casually follow college football and know who certain players are because you know they're going to be there for a few years. Like, CJ Stroud, Ohio State, I know who he is.
Yeah.
Or Marvin Harrison Jr., I know who he is. Or, Baker Mayfield, I know who he is. So it's easier in college football because they have stars you can build. Oh, wow, he's just a freshman. Look at the impact he made. Can't wait to watch him for the next couple of years at Alabama or Ohio State or whatever. So you can hype up players. If you can hype up players in college basketball, but like if you do, it's like there's not much to go on because they're the number 1 recruit in the country or whatever. It's like, all right. So either they're legit and they'll be gone in a year, or they won't be, and then it's like, I don't know, are they even legit? So you have that stigma of like, well, are they even worth this hype because they're not one and dones? So I don't know. Like there's no, like, March Madness is fun, it's great, but there is, and people in the college basketball nerds bitch about the casual people saying, "Oh, people who want to see the blue bloods or the big name schools in the Final Four, they can't even name the past Final Fours and this that." It's like, no, they can't. And like you're yelling
can't.
But you're yelling at the wrong people. Like you're being mad at an audience who's been taught that March is the only month that matters. And this is always like the argument, like anti-football playoff guy will use. Oh, you don't want to turn into college basketball? No, they're two different sports. Like the health of football is fine. As I said before, you get guys for 3 to 4 to 5 years guaranteed. You don't have that in basketball. So you can have more consistency in your football programs than you can in your basketball programs. So, and then the transfer portal, listen, the transfer portal has affected football, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to basketball, because basketball, you could lose. You see what happened to Oklahoma.
Yeah, the team can get gutted.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I'm going to go somewhere else, see if I can do something, because Jalen Hill took off, and one of the Tanner Grove, or which one of the Groves brothers left, and so it's like, okay, like OU is frustrating to watch this year because you saw like they did, if OU had like a legit star player, that team could have done something potentially.
Yeah,
like if they actually had a guy who could lead that team, and it doesn't have to be like a Trey Young, but if you had a guy that was like a go-to, that's like, this guy is going to be a first round pick in the NBA, and it doesn't have to be a top 10 guy. If you had like a first round pick in the NBA, like on that team, so because like you saw what they could do at certain times when they were clicking, but it was like they couldn't be consistent about it. Like I would have traded the Alabama win for a win in Allen Fieldhouse any day of the week.
I think everybody would have.
Like that Alabama win was cute and it was fun. It was like, oh, how nice. It's like, are they going to do anything with this? No, they're not even going to make the tournament. So, I mean, Alabama was a fraud anyway, as we all found out. So,
I mean, that's why I didn't pick them past, I think, like the Sweet 16, even to make it that far. I said, yeah, they're going to drop it. They lost to us. they're not making it.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, they lost to us. They're frauds. They can do anything.
Yeah.
So it's like for me, it's just like I fill up my bracket because it's like, all right, I like my idea, like my bracket's like, I picked like Duke and Kansas in the finals, so it's like whatever. I didn't, because I'm not gonna pretend I watch college basketball like overall this year like I do football, but I knew like a team of note was going to win it. It's like it's cute, like San Diego State and FAU. It's like, okay, which one of these teams is actually for? Okay, UConn is destroying everybody. UConn's going to win the whole damn thing now. Like UConn had all six. If you're a UConn fan, it's like you had no stress at all in this tournament. You're like, well, we're probably winning this bitch. Like the best thing to happen to OU fans was Miami beating Texas. Like that was great. It's like, thanks, Hurricanes, appreciate it.
Well, and I mean, to be fair, I had Texas winning it all because I thought they had the easiest route with that. I was like, oh, Houston's the only one. I don't believe in Houston. But then they threw up on themselves against Miami. Good job, guys.
well, then like you have like people who like say then they piss all over the Big 12 being the best conference or whatever thing. It's like it's such a different animal.
Oh, absolutely.
The whole tournament is such a different animal because you'll get these teams that are either, it's one of two things. You actually have a mid-major that's been together for a few years, or in the case of FAU, you have a bunch of transfer portal kids who all went to the same place, and all of a sudden they're a decent roster who can make the freaking Final Four.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was a good game. It was fun to watch, and then it's like, well, okay, the real team, the real powerhouse is going to win it. So the streak continues of like actual programs that care about the sport are going to win it. So last year was Kansas, this year's UConn, who's like, which I laugh at the blue blood argument because it's like it's like well, they're not a blue blood. It's like, okay, like how does one become a blue blood? Well, they were already named before. It's like that, yeah, but they were named for a reason. So why were they named blue bloods back then? So it's like my thing with UConn isn't like people bring up the Miami Hurricanes. Well, is Miami a blue blood? Well, because they were a popcorn dynasty and won most of their titles in one decade, and they fell off, and they got one in 01, and then that was it.
Right.
UConn's been winning championships because people like to throw Final Fours, which is, let's be honest, getting to the Final Four is a big deal, but UConn's been winning championships since
Right.
1999. They have a win. They have a championship in the 90s. They have a title in the aughts. They have a couple titles in the 2010s, and they have a title this decade too. So it's like, I don't know how many more decades they need to win at least one title to like say, like, you have the same amount as Indiana, and some people don't claim Indiana to be a blue blood. They have more than Kansas, who's like clearly a blue blood in everyone's eyes. Like the 4 or 5 teams people point to is like Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, Kansas,
Indiana.
Let me do this again. Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky, and UCLA. Those are the 5 people always throw. I mean, Indiana is never in the conversation for some reason, even though they have 5, because like a couple of them are like ancient titles, and the other 3 are Bobby Knight. Yeah. So I don't know.
But I mean, in the same respect, though, the more that things change, the more that they stay the same.
Because if you keep winning national titles like over the course of like people's entire lifetime, it's like, guess what? When that generation gets older, they're gonna think of you as the established like Gestapo or whatever.
Right. Well, and it's what you mentioned.
That was a bad term. I shouldn't have used that, but you know what I mean.
I do. And I mean, it's no different than you mentioned it on your live stream with Eric. Like, he didn't know what that blue bloods was a term in football. It's like, yeah, it is. It's the same thing, but it's still the same thing as well. It's consistency. It's have your program, how many like success over low years, how you had championships. Like, it's still the same. And I mean, it also depends on the length of the sport.
I always said for football, if you were if you were really good in the 70s, you're a blue blood in college football.
Oh, and I agree with you. I've adopted that, and I've also adopted yours as well. Of take your best coach and your worst coach, take them off. That's what your program is, and I think that's true.
Yeah, sucks to be Penn State.
Yikes! Yeah, but you're true. But it's true. But I mean, again, it's what you just said though about like UConn. They won it, and I had to bring it up with it. 99, 04, 11, 14, 23. You're almost essentially guaranteeing every other class a championship. Like, it doesn't get better than that.
Well, if you could win,
if you're not that class.
I mean, UConn, like the argument for against UConn, well, they're not like consistently great every year, dude. They're winning natties on the reg.
They're winning one natty every 10 years, roughly. Like, that's good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good run, man. If you could promise, like, if OU could win a natty in basketball every 10 years, it'd be awesome.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, any sport, you win one. I mean, the only one I think has leeway still is softball, and you and Eric mentioned it, where it's like UCLA and Arizona are like the big ones. OU's a part of that now because the sport hasn't been around that long.
Well, yeah, and plus, like, softball's a more fun watch, and it's, guess what? Your teams stay together and it's just the nature of the beast, because, like, yes, there is a pro softball league, but it's, let's be honest, no one's really watching pro softball at the moment. I mean, it's not there. Like, people are watching the WNBA a little bit, but like pro softball is nowhere near that. So it's just like WNBA actually gets ratings. Like, people, not like gigantic ratings, but ratings that are like good. Ratings that are a lot better than you would think. But it's just like, I don't know what you do about like the end. Like, it's just the NFL and college football have an understanding, and they work well together. They're a well-oiled machine. Like the NBA and NCAA basketball do not. So I don't know how you fix that. I don't know if Adam Silver talks to gets the union involved. Like, but like they're like, they don't care because they have their G League. They're not concerned about the health of college basketball. It is not. It's a money maker, but not if a football. If you have a football program on your campus, it's more important. Guess what? Like, so I don't know what to say. Like, I think there isn't a big hurry to get a new arena for OU men's basketball anytime soon, because I guarantee
some of it's zoning, but that's unrelated.
Well, kind of, yeah, but like, who got the bulk of that $175 million? For that athletic budget. Yeah, exactly. So we all know where the priority is. I would argue softball is priority number 2.
I was gonna say, it may be a hot take, but I don't think it is. I don't even think basketball is in the top 3 at this point. I would say
I can't go there, but
Let me throw it.
I know where you're leaning towards, but
It's not gymnastics though. That's not where I'm leaning towards. It's baseball.
Yeah, I still wouldn't lean there yet.
Would you say basketball then is on the precipice of falling out? I'll put it that way.
Not yet. Like, my thing with OU baseball is that they had a 1-year run. They had a little Cinderella run last year.
That's fair. And that's fair.
And I'm not saying it's impossible for them to rebuild, and because they're going to a conference where it's pretty good baseball.
Well, that's why I said baseball. Do you think that's going to force their hand? Because we're getting a new facility, but we're getting upgrades.
Sure.
I feel like that. If I'm being blunt too, I do feel like basketball kind of has been Joe C's only mistake, in my opinion, concerning the athletic department, because it does feel like.
When you say mistake, like, you mean recently with Porter Moser? Is that it?
No, maybe about 10 or 15 years. Like, I'm not going to say he's
I don't know. Like, Kruger got you. Lon and Buddy Hield took you to a Final Four. So I don't know how.
Yeah, but Lon was never meant to be the winning coach. He was there to right the ship so they could hire somebody better, though.
Yeah, but he got you to a Final Four. So yeah. I don't know. Like, it's like you got to raise that banner, and granted, it sucks that you lost to a team that you got killed by a team that you beat in a literal high school gym in Hawaii the same season, but no one remembers that because it's not the
basketball.
Game that mattered. It's not the game that mattered. Yeah, the days of like having a Buddy Hield for 3 or 4 years, that shit's over.
Yeah, I mean, unless they
because if you do have that player. And if things aren't going well, they'll just transfer out.
Yep. Well, and it's also, I go as far as the only time you would get that player is if they know they are not have zero prospect in the NBA. That's the only reason.
I mean, and Buddy's still in the NBA. He's doing okay.
Yeah.
He ain't a superstar, but he's a solid 3-point shooter like he's always been. And so
he's a solid player we need that now. But I agree with you, though, softball being, the number 2, because look how much they filled up against Texas. Like, they broke records. It ain't going away. And the dum-dums who say, like, oh, people don't know who Patty is, they're stupid and need to get out.
You're referring to, like, just one person on Twitter. So let's not, like, label a whole bunch of people. You're referring to one person.
No, I'm referring to others as well in some polite company I have, where they say, yeah, softball's not a big deal. We don't care with it. It's always going to be a lackluster sport. Bro, well,
no, my problem with, like, the whole is, like, you have the people say, the state breathes softball. It's like, no, it doesn't breathe softball. It breathes football. It doesn't breathe softball. But at the same time, it's like the two extremes. It's like, no, we're not that insane over it. But at the same time, it's like, that's like saying that's like saying for Tennessee football fans, it's like saying you didn't know who Pat Summitt was. Like, you may not be insane for back in the day, you may not have been insane for Lady Vols basketball, like if you're a Tennessee football fan, but you knew who the fuck Pat Summitt was. And like that's where Patty Gasso is right now. She's in Pat Summitt territory.
Yeah.
As a female college coach, or just a college coach, period.
Yeah.
Like, drop the female. Like, she's like got multiple, she's got the most like, who on campus has more rings than her right now? Maybe the gymnastics coaches?
Yep, the gymnastics, and that's it.
That's it? Like, the men's gymnastics coach? So it's like she wakes up every morning and says, which one do I put on today?
Yeah, I think Mark has 8. I think. But he goes to, like, the finals almost every year too. So, like, you got to take that into account as well.
Isn't that going on, like, soon?
Yeah, that's coming up, like, I think next weekend.
Like, the nationals are happening pretty soon for both men's and women's. So
yeah, I think,
which is the only time I'll watch, because I have no idea what I'm rooting for. It just, people seem to cheer whenever they do flips and shit, and it's like, I'm just waiting for the score. You're just waiting for the judge's score. It's like there's no, like, oh, they did this flip, and you don't see a point. You don't have a score bug that gives you points every time they do a flip or they do a handstand, or or whatever. So it's like, you know.
I will say when I worked at it, that was actually one of my all-time favorite sports that I loved working was gymnastics. When you understand how the point systems work and what they're looking for outside of the dance routines, it's great.
Which is all subjective, pretty much.
The dance is. The rest of it's not. The other ones are like, yeah, there's a certain measurement they're looking for. Like when the men are on the rings, how much do they shake on the rings? How straight do they keep it? There is a score that is associated with it. It's subjective, but there's logic behind it. The dance routine, yes, that's another matter entirely for it. But yeah, I mean, I love watching it. It's great.
I'll shake on some rings. Like you'll see my chewed bubblegum ass try to get up there and get on a ring.
But I mean, I have when I worked supervision, I had a greater appreciation for gymnastics after I left it than before. Like, it's probably one of the easiest sports to watch. Just like though softball, I have a greater appreciation for working it over baseball. But that's me. Speaking of, you mentioned with the basketball and stuff as well. Something I do think I want to throw out there as well is, and you kind of mentioned it, is not just the Final Fours. Who can name the actual champions from the last couple of years, like outside of UConn and Kansas? I would say Virginia, because we all know.
Last year was kind of a big deal because it was Coach K's last game, and it was in the Final Four against the arch rival North Carolina Tar Heels. So that's a little memorable. And then North Carolina went on to lose to Kansas. So you had like a great, like you had a pretty good, like team, star power when it came to coaches and programs last year. So this year you was like, UConn, that's it. Okay.
Yeah. I looked it up. Mark Williams has 9. The women's coach, KJ, she has 5, and Patty Gasso has 6. They're the ones with the most rings on campus.
No, Patty's like, I got some work to do. Patty's going for 3 in a row, man, and so it's
yeah, she is.
And I ain't seen any reason why she can't get it at this point.
Didn't you and Eric say that it's in the sense of it, it's a less talented team, but it's because it's not with the hitting, it's with the pitching this year?
No. Eric's point is that you can lean on the OU pitching this year because you don't have that big gun that everyone has to fear. It's going to come from somewhere different. It's going to come from TRA. It's going to come from Jada Coleman. It's going to come from Burrito's been up and down lately. Burrito's like, I'm not saying she's in a slump, but like I've been watching everything like lately. And every time Burrito comes up, it's like, oh, it just comes a little bit short or just, so it's like she was a lot more effective about a month or so ago, but I think she'll come out of it. But Haley Lee's been awesome lately. She's been killing it. Just
is
Grace has been doing good. So but like the entire pitching, like it's Nicole Stracco, Nicole May, and Jordy Ball had a great performance this past weekend against Tech. So overall, I think they're playing like that Miami of Ohio kind of like a road tourney thing this weekend, I think. So I don't know if they're going to be on ESPN Plus. This might be one of the first times in a minute they haven't been on like viewable television. So Let's see if that changes. Sometimes they update that. Let's take a look here.
Well, then while you look that up, didn't you say too?
Oh, they got LSU Tuesday. I forgot, so that'll be on ESPN Plus.
Right.
So I'll be watching that, and then this weekend they got that Miami, Ohio. They play like Oakland, Louisville, and Miami of Ohio. So I think that's radio only.
Well, yeah, and unless you're in Tulsa and down the road, you and Eric were right that their next home game's not till Kansas, and that's at the end of April. Like that's actually, I'm kind of surprised they're going that many road trips at that point.
Before you know it, we'll be in early May, and Bedlam will be here. So
yeah, I want to say Eric was the one who mentioned it. With Clemson losing in the doubleheader, is Jada now in the lead for Player of the Year? Or am I thinking of someone else?
I don't know. Like Jada's going to be up there, man. So she's killing it. So like they'll dock her points based on the team she's playing for. Some people will.
Yeah.
But I think if OU keeps rolling, still only a 1-loss team, and after this upcoming weekend, they'll play Baylor the following in Waco, so that'll be must-see TV. So, but I know OSU dropped a game to Wichita State, so that'll because and OU plays Wichita State coming up soon. So just in a little interweaving storylines all across. So it'll be fun to.
Well, and that's why I asked on it, because I know there's so much going on and everything. I think looking at it, I had to take a look, Sean, with it. The gymnastics championship is this coming weekend for it, and it's in Dallas.
Go. So
I had to take a look while we were talking about it. But no, I was curious on softball. I know you and Eric have the live streams, and you've had it.
Watching the flippity floppity.
Yeah, and I think both of them are going for it. Let's talk some football, Sean. Let's talk shop. So spring game, it's next weekend. We've had spring practice for.
You can't say next weekend.
Not this weekend.
Say April 22nd. People are gonna. You're gonna confuse the two people who are here.
Hey, there's four.
There's four. Okay.
There's four. April 22nd. Obviously, we've had a couple practice reports. I think Eddie and Kersey, or not Kersey, Kerry.
Kersey's out of the game, man. He's
in law school.
He's busy. He's a lawyer now.
He practice. Is, which I will be like, bro, you traded in one hard profession for another one. Woo. But no, we got a lot of practice reports from it. We got some injuries that they mentioned from practice. Like they mentioned, like Javante Barnes was on his scooter.
He got something cleaned up that he's had bothering him from high school, so he'll be back in the summer.
Yeah. So. Jaden Rowe, Shane Witter, and Kelvin Gideon, they were all, I think, also had surgery and they're out for the spring. But I think something you've highlighted a lot is our tight end room is very, very thin. Like there's Stogner and a piece of string and a bubble gum and a paper clip all wrapped together, because that's our area that we need to be absolutely concerned about.
Well, they got Boppo, the inflatable boxing clown that you down from Rugrats. Hi, I'm Boppo. That's who you got.
That was a good reference. I like that.
Hi, Boppo. I'm Tommy. Hi, I'm Boppo. That's what they got. That's what they got behind Stogner at tight end.
Oh God, they know that just to take his plug out and he'll just deflate. Oh God. But yes, so
PJ Adebari just like sacking Bob, just like shedding tackles against Boppo.
But besides tight end stuff, what all progress have we gotten from spring just with the injuries? Anybody we've hearing a lot about that's making a lot of progress?
Well, it sounds like the wide receivers are coming along, and I think that helps because Dylan's like sounding like he's playing a lot better, and then you have there's a lot of positive talk about Jackson Arnold. He's catching on fairly quickly, and he keeps progressing the way he is. Like I think he'll be the number 2 quarterback this year without question. So I think a lot of people expected that, but like when the first practice reports came out, it's like
there was a struggle a little bit.
well, no, I don't take that. I take that with a grain of salt because it's practice number 1 or 2.
Right.
I'm not gonna judge someone practice 1 or 2. The Justin Harrington hype is back, as per the annual hype for him has returned. So take that for what it's worth.
As per tradition,
we're supposed to get hyped up about him. But Stutzman is sounds like he's going to be a beast this year. And I mean,
that's what I'm hearing a lot too.
I mean, he very quietly led the Big 12 in tackles last year, but some people thought he sucks. I think
plays. That's why. I mean, it's not that he sucked. It's he wasn't there for the big plays when they mattered.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's there's more than just him. Kobe McKenzie sounds like he's coming along really nicely. So, red shirting and, Deshaun McCullough. I look here and Deshaun McCullough talk about how, it's trying to learn a difficult defense. So, like, I mentioned this like a while ago. Like, I see there's a lot of, I don't want to say generic. That's not the term. There's like a lot of like football YouTubers that cover like a little bit of everything. And they're trying to like, they're trying to cover a lot of teams. Like here's who the guys will make instant impacts at certain schools. And I see guys listing a bunch of true freshmen for Oklahoma, especially at linebackers. Like Lewis Carter, look at his highlight. He's going to make an instant impact. I'm like, guys, I think Lewis Carter is going to be great, but not this year. He's not even here for early enrollees. Like,
right,
a linebacker is not going to be a July kid and pick up Brent's scheme that quickly. It's just not going to happen. Now
we saw it last year that the
people are like, why isn't Kanik playing more, dude? Kanik, it's like
if he would have.
He got in there sparingly in certain packages because they wanted to get him on the field because he was talented. Right. But now maybe Lewis Carter will be in a similar situation, and he'll make a play or two because you just watch Lewis Carter. His speed and athleticism is off the charts. So there's a possibility you could see him in a package or two. For him to be like the guy in one of those spots, it's like it's not realistic because like we saw what happened last year. So
right.
Everyone keeps talking about PJ Atabare as like, God, we have not had a guy like him in a long time. It just shows. And like what I saw at the Under Armour game, and people are seeing it now, it is just insane. He does need his upper body needs to be bulked up a little bit. His lower body is good.
By middle of the year, do you think he's going to be a starter?
I don't think he's not going to be a starter. He could be. Dude, you bring that dude in on third downs and just turn him loose. That's what you do with him. Like, I don't know if you start him, but like you can easily depending on rules, and if you can sneak him in on third downs and just go for it, go for the quarterback, go make life miserable for opposing quarterbacks. He can do that.
Yeah.
I haven't heard much on Kip. But the guys that you hear are Stutzman, Cody McKenzie, Deshaun McCullough, Kanik. Those are the guys you hear like glowing reviews.
Yeah, that's why I was about to say McCullough.
So everyone's trying to figure out who the cheetah is because there's like 39 cheetahs on this roster apparently. I don't know who the cheetah is. All right. Like that's the one thing. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, this guy can play cheetah." There's like 39 cheetahs you guys think are going to be on this roster, and it's just, I almost wish the position didn't exist because it's like, oh my god, he's going to play cheetah. It's like, how many cheetahs are you going to have? It's like it's like the Roy back. It's like we created the Roy back position. There's one guy who made that work. It was Roy Williams. One guy made that work. It was Roy, the guy who was named after. So I don't know, like secondary, I'm super excited about because I really think like Billy Bowman is really going to be good this year, and Peyton Bowen is a guy who's flashing a little bit. Woody's looking good. I think Josiah Wagner at some point is going to be a stud corner, and that was a guy. Josiah Wagner was a guy who, when things were looking rough, like he was a guy pegged to that we would probably lose at a flip. Like there was a lot of talk about him. Like, I don't know if we're going to hold on to Josiah. And it's like, shit, damn it.
Hey.
But the fact that we only lost one guy, Vasek, for the most part.
Yeah.
I know people point to like late recruiting, whatever flips. So like they weren't flips, they weren't committed yet. But regardless, it's just the fact that you have a top 5, number 4 class, and you only really lost one guy at the end of the day. And
while he's on my mind, I know you're moving around with it. What about Travis Ford? My understanding is because of his injury, they may want to limit some of his snaps.
Who is Travis Ford?
Huh?
I don't know this person you speak of.
Trace Ford. I'm sorry, Trace Ford, not Travis Ford.
Trace is coming along. He's got to stay healthy. It's just one of those things where it's like, well, he's really good at playing football at the defensive end position. Can he stay healthy? I mean, I think that's even Oklahoma State fan will tell you that. So he can stay healthy, he's good. So, but I think edge rushers have a chance to be really good there. So, I just think the interior of the D line is where I'm kind of concerned, which is like, what else is new at Oklahoma?
Yeah.
But Isaiah Coe is a guy you're hoping like is really good. The Notre Dame, it's like Jacob Lacey, the Notre Dame transfer. He's okay. He's a good body to have. Jonah Lulu, the transfer from he was the other two. Was he a Tulane or Hawaii transfer? I forget which.
I think he was the Hawaii.
Yeah, I think it's Hawaii. Yeah. So, but he's transitioned inside. They gotta find a guy or two who can just be somewhat consistent in that role. Because like I just think the schedule they have, I don't know who they're going to go up against. That's really going to like drive them nuts. Like there's going to be somebody like Texas will be one, just by talent alone. But it's just like they need to like. This year is so big with
trying to. Kansas. Oh, right. We don't play Kansas State. Never mind.
No, we don't play anyone who normally gives us trouble. It seems, but like we're trying to get guys like David Stone. We're trying to get guys like Nwaneri. We're trying to get like OU's really in the thick of things for some big defensive linemen that are where it feels realistic. Like there's no guarantee you're getting all of them, but I have confidence we're getting at least one, maybe two. I don't see like David Stone is a simple conversation with mom to keep her calm. And like, if anyone could do that, it's Brent Venables.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the
I think Brent could convince his mom that Jesus will personally protect David from whatever local problems there is. He has that power. He's like, I know Jesus personally. He will protect your son from these problems. I have him in my phone. I have his number. I can text him right now.
Whole mission.
Well, that's right. Exactly. You said that's what the soul mission is. We have we had Jesus on speed dial, man. We can make this happen. So
exactly. What was there with spring practice right now? While it's on my mind as well, is there any player that you're surprised they haven't had anything talked about them? Nothing stand out with it. They're just kind of been there, I guess, is what I'm asking. Or I don't want to say disappointment because it's spring. But I guess you maybe expected more from them by spring. Not including someone with an injury or anything, because that's obviously a limitation that we can't control.
I mean, unfortunately, like one of the guys I would say is Kelvin Gilliam, but it seems like he's always hurt. So, I don't know. Like, I'm not. I know Walter Rouse has got a blue jersey at times, but like I don't expect him to like. Because you're not going to hear anything like scrimmage wise. Not really. I mean, you're starting to hear like if you would have talked to me a couple weeks ago, I would say some of the receivers, but you're starting to hear like they had a scrimmage and like I said, like Gibson and Nick Anderson and the Michigan transfer sound like they're doing good.
Yeah.
Like so they had a really good scrimmage. So like they need I guess like we haven't heard much from Farouk, I guess. If that makes sense.
Yeah, we haven't.
I'm not saying like he's not doing anything good. It's just that sometimes you forget he's there. Yeah. Like I was like, he's the number one guy. I'm like, I guess. I mean, Drake Stoops nearly killed a man, like in practice, like a week ago. Billy Bowman. So he almost killed a man. So Drake is the one making noise at the wide receiver position.
Does that surprise you any? That Drake is the one like
no, his dad is Bob and his uncle is Mike. They're honorary. Like this is the family that had like death matches in their basement when they were kids. So I hope some of that bloodline like trickled down.
No, I was just curious on it. I agree with Farouk, or he's doing what's expected of him, and there's not a lot to talk about. But you've also said too that if there's one area you are looking at with the spring game is the wide receiver unit and seeing where they are at this point, how far
Well,
they have gone.
Well, the only thing I care about the spring game is to hear when number 10 rolls out. Jackson Arnold rolls out. I want to like get a stopwatch out. How long is the ovation, the standing ovation for Jackson Arnold?
But your
joke, 5-star.
Your joke can't apply though anymore. Who's he going to toss the ball to now?
Gavin Sawchuk. Well, we good.
It's you figured out who it is.
or Marcus Major. If you want to throw Marcus Major in that mix too, can Marcus Major finally fucking do something that's like not a useless bowl game? I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like Marcus Major has been like a pain in the ass because he's either hurt or he didn't get his grades taken care of, and he had to wait till later in this. Like this is a couple years ago, but like,
or like last year.
I'm like, I mean, Justin Harrington is like the one player on defense. Like, okay, he's gonna do something, and like Marcus Major's the other guy. Is like, okay, like, my mind's on Javante Barnes and Gavin Sawchuk and Smothers. Those are the guys I'm thinking of. Like Marcus Major, are you gonna do something? I'm shocked you're here still. To be honest,
don't forget Marcus too. Add in last year, where at one point, probably in the first 3 or 4 games, he was legitimately better than Eric Gray, and then he plateaued and fell off. And I agree with that. I think Marcus hasn't pulled. You
tried to tell me Eric Gray wasn't good, and I said, "Fuck you."
Eric Gray, and I stand by that when I said it because he wasn't doing anything.
Eric Gray had a top 10 OU running back season,
right? But at the time, he did not look good, and
he had a Devontae Parker type of season, basically.
Yeah, but I'm not the only one who thought that, though. Eddie thought that.
Eddie has lots of thoughts, and
but Kerry also thought that, and so did Josh. They all thought that, and they said there seemed to be a point around the 4th game where it finally clicked for him. And then he was off to the races. But
they're still learning a new offense, and you know the one guy you could count on all season, win or lose, was Eric Gray for the most part. He was the one consistent, like more so than Mims, more so than Gabriel, more so than Farouk. He was the one guy you could get the ball and he could potentially do something with it. And I wish him. I think he'll get I think if he can sneak into the 2nd round or be an early 3rd round pick I wish him the best. So his 40 time did him wonders. We'll leave it at that.
You're telling me, Sean, that he was more consistent than Theo Weiss? I just had to throw that joke in there. Where are we at NFL draft? I haven't even looked at the boards right now where people are supposed to land at this point.
Anton Harrison's going to be a late 1st round pick, and that's kind of like the notable. Like that's it. I hope he might drop 2nd round, but I think he's going 1st.
He'd be a steal if he is in the 2nd round.
Yeah, he definitely would be. I think Anton is going at some point in the 1st round because. And Beanbo finally will get a 1st rounder, hopefully, because that's the one feather in his cap he just doesn't have. Like you look at the guys he's put in the league, like Orlando Brown and Creed Humphrey and just on and on. He was around for Lane, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he's been Beanbo's been here for a while. I'll give him credit for Lane. So it's just no, wait. Lane. No, he didn't. No, he wasn't technically around for Lane. I think that was the next year because if he did, because Lane was a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
So he would have gotten. So no, I want to correct myself there because wait a minute. Lane was the 3rd or 4th guy off the board the year he got drafted, and he's having himself a hell of a career. So
Lane's nasty, man. He good. He is good. But
you should go back if go back and look up his Rivals profile pic. He looks skinny as fuck. Lane Johnson does not look like the man he is today. The dude was
he was a monster.
He was like a quarterback. He was a quarterback who went to defensive end, went to tight end, then became a tackle, and then went top 5 in the draft. Just look up his old Rivals, Lane Johnson. He looks like me, when my family saw me at family day after basic training, where I was like 180 pounds and my ears stuck out of my head like Dumbo. when I'm 18 years old, like I lost so much weight in like 8 or 9 weeks.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find another one with it because on. Okay, let me try.
He's got a.
Here we go. Rivals. Here we go.
You know, look at his picture. look at that skinny little motherfucker, Lane Johnson.
He has a neck.
Yeah, his neck
actually exists.
His neck actually exists, and it's
Oh man,
Lane is awesome, man. Like he's the he's the one guy I'm happy that has a ring. So,
dude does not look like his high school. I'll put it that way.
No, he's a different. He went a chaotic route to get to the league in ways he didn't think you. But man, you got Orlando Brown, you got Trent still killing it. Like Trent Williams is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I will fight anybody who says otherwise.
You're not, dude. You don't get on the NFL cover without being that. Like, yeah, he is. He's gonna be good. Like he's
still a nasty. He's got a little bit of that Orlando pace. Like, I'm gonna instill the fear of God into you if you go up against me one-on-one.
Yeah.
Like, he's so good, man. And like Washington.
How many more years do you think he has left at this
dude,
point?
he's still killing it, man. I mean, dude, you play as long as your body allows you to, man. But like Trent deserves a ring, man. Like, he's come close.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, he's come close before, but it's like he played at Washington for all those years, and then they screwed him over, like, because he had that issue where he had that one year he had like a little
cancer,
he had like a thing on his head or something, and like so in Washington screwed. That's one of the most piss poor run franchises, and they pissed off like a future Hall of Famer. So
yeah,
I'm glad he there was like that period like where Washington had like, was it like 3 OU offensive linemen?
Yeah,
like in one game.
That was the running joke or whatever. Where it was like
it was like
and,
who was it? Was like Trent and who were those 3? It was Trent and a few others, and I can't remember because I know there were like injured. There was like some backups. So it was like a Sunday night football game. There was like 3 OU players. I have to look that up, but it was like Trent and a few other guys.
Well, it was Trent, wasn't Samaje on the same one at the same time?
I thought there was multiple offensive linemen like starting at the same time. It wasn't Samaje. I could have swore there was like 3 O linemen like starting for Washington.
It would probably be what, 2015, 2016, maybe
something like that. Yeah, it was one of his
2015.
It was one of it. It was like because he was still with Washington when I was at Full Sail, like because that was that issue. So it would have been like 16 or 17 because I think they were asking Bob about it because like Bob was like reminiscing. It had to have been like 15 or 16.
Let me take a look. Anyway. I'm looking at the roster right now to see with it because was Blake Griffin the quarterback at that point. That will help out a little bit.
Blake Griffin.
Not Blake Griffin. Robert Griffin.
You mean Archie? You mean RG3?
Yeah.
Blake Griffin is playing quarterback.
My names are all over the place tonight. Was it when he was playing? Because if so, that will help narrow down the years. But I mean, looking at the defensive lineman right now, I don't see anything from 2015, at least. Unless there's some of the backup or something that I'm not seeing.
I don't know. I'm trying to find like something like Google.
Regardless. What?
Anyway, I'm sure.
No, yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree with you. You got it. He'll get a ring eventually. I think. I mean, if he's been in the league for 13, he has what? Maybe. Well,
I love this comment. We passed USC in the 2024 Classic. We have 2 commits. We've got 2 commits. Actually, that's even funnier because we were like going toe to toe with SC for like that safety commit Flowers. but like Oregon was in the mix too, and it looked like people were flipping because he looked like he might go to OU, but people were flipping from OU to USC, and then last minute he flipped to Oregon. So it's like, you know what? I'm not upset. I'm a little upset we didn't get him, but it's like that's like a consolation prize. He didn't go to SC. So once again, Tebow can't lock down defensive talent. What a shock.
They saw what happened last year. I mean, there's even like, yeah. Speaking of recruiting stuff, so we have let me bring up my notes real fast. We had
Mitchell. He visited Miami today, or this weekend.
We had Nukambi. He committed like a couple weeks ago, and then Michael Hawkins.
Nukambi? Isn't it Newcomb?
Newcomb? I don't know.
Nukambi, man.
Newcomb.
That's an interesting pronunciation. I think it's just Newcomb.
Newcomb. Okay. And then Hawkins, of course, he committed yesterday. Is there anybody like on the radar for sure right now? Because I know of like
Mitchell. That's who's on the radar. Davon Mitchell, the 2025 tight end.
The tight end. Yeah.
Who he visited Miami this weekend. Listen, the worst kept secret apparently is he wants to reclassify to 24, and he wants to play with his former teammate at Allen High School, which is Hawkins. So those two guys apparently really want to play together, and it's like I don't think OU is going to say no to a 5-star tight end. So I think that's just a matter of time. Don't ask me when this matter of time is or how long this matter of time is. This could be weeks. It could be months. I don't know. Like until someone with actual knowledge comes out and says so, it's just we're Homer Simpson, like twiddling our thumbs, and now we play the waiting game. That's basically where we're at. So, I do not know. Like I know the spring game is coming up on the 22nd
next week.
We're still in Sunday.
We are.
You're confusing people. Anyway, I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be a visitor list that'll pop up at some point because, like, I'm sure a lot of people are trying to figure out if they can make the trip. There's to confirm. So a lot of social media. I will be in Norman for the spring game. Blah blah blah. So that will be a thing that will. That will be a lot of focus in the coming week or two.
Right, and then looking at like the different ones as well. I mean, there's some names that popped up like in the 2025 class, like Grayson Harris and stuff, for example.
I can't think of 2025. I know we got a quarterback before in that class before we got a quarterback for this upcoming class. So 2025 is not a real year to me yet. So
then concerning then like some of our 2024, what about Isaiah McMorris? What about him? Is he like more of our direction? Is he still taking visits type of deal?
Oh, he's still taking visits. So I know it feels like he might commit to us soon. I know there's like a lot of momentum there, but again, there's like no definitive date or anything. So I'm just very patiently waiting to see. But a lot of the spring game visits is going to be like because they had a big junior day a few weeks back where they had a ton of 2025 guys.
Right.
But right. I'm just waiting to see what the list looks like for when they put it all together, and we shall see how it all turns out. But,
and that's going to weed out essentially a lot of the. I mean, you go take a look at it; it's like over 100 recruits who they've offered, but that's going to start narrowing down at this point. Besides that,
well, I mean, they're all from different classes. It's not all going to be 124, 20. Like you'll have a bunch of guys for 24, 25, and even 26 there.
Right.
So it's not like you're reaching and like guys will take trips, but like. I know they're going to push really hard for people to try to match the 75K they had last year.
Well, I don't think they're going to get it. I think that's just going to be.
You don't think they're going to have the same love for Kyler they had for Baker?
No. I'll just outright say no. I think last year was the perfect combination of Scorndex's wife feelings, Brent coming in, and Baker. I think that was the perfect one. I just don't see that.
We love you, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, like I just don't see it. I know people love Kyler, but I just don't see it. But then again, they might be there because this will be the last Heisman dedication we have for quite some time, probably.
Are you saying we're not winning the Heisman Trophy this year? Fuck you.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying a statue dedication.
Are you saying we're not going to have another Heisman winner ever again? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Dylan Gabriel, Heisman Trophy winner. There you go.
I will make a video and say how wrong I was if he wins a Heisman.
Dude, if Dylan Gabriel wins the Heisman, that's like some sort of Back to the Future. You look at the newspaper and it changes right in front of your eyes, type of shit. Great Scott!
Got to go back to the past to go back to the future. Oh goodness, no, I'm serious. If he did, I would be the first one in line. And be like, I was wrong. I said on Livestream, guys, I did not like Dylan. I was wrong. I'm eating my crow. No, I doubt I'm going to do that. But
Dylan wins a Heisman because Andrew Anthony makes a catch in stride and gets like an 80-yard touchdown to beat Texas or something.
Oh, I mean, who knows?
Can I speak that to existence? Andrew Anthony catches a pass in stride and his speed, and he just like goes 80 yards for a TD to win the game.
Sure. Well, I think the big thing right now that I saw definitely for recruiting, I see the quarterbacks, I see wide receivers, everything. The thing that keeps standing out to me is definitely the defensive line and saying we're going for those 5-star defensive linemen. Like you said, not just David Stone, though.
We were always going for those 5-star D linemen. It's just that they weren't very keen on making us like a priority. The difference is we're going to have that magical SEC patch year one from now on. And also, Brent is there and he has a track record. So all of a sudden it's like, oh, I might want to go here. Yeah. So, and the soul mission's there too. So people love Jesus is really big with defensive lineman families.
Apparently so. Well, you mentioned that, by the way, while I'm thinking about it as well. Did you see in the news about the state of Oklahoma passing legislation that basically says, OU, OSU, and Tulsa can't be punished for NIL stuff anymore?
I mean, they can't. It's not their fault. Like these NIL collectives are just running wild like Hulkamania, and they're gonna. It's like it's a. I have no problem with that. It's it's not Oklahoma's fault. These collectives are not officially associated with the university, so it's like, oh my God, a bag of money ended up in Jackson Arnold's like apartment. How does this keep happening? It's literally like a cartoon. It's literally like a cartoon bag of money with the big dollar sign on it.
It's a Brahms bag with a dollar sign.
It's like he orders DoorDash and he gets his Taco Bell like combo, and then there's like a bag of money along with it.
It reminds me of the old
all right. I got my 2 quesadillas, a large Baja Blast, and here's a bag of money.
You're making me think of the old GameCube meme where it's like, I opened up the back and oh my gosh, there's a keys to an Alexis. I opened up the next side, there's a GameCube in my GameCube. Like that type of joke. But I mean, it just cracked me up because I'm like, what can the NCAA punish at this point? They can't. It's state law. They can't punish them. Good luck.
Well, they'll
the only thing they could do is
they're trying, like the NCAA is trying to get Congress to do NIL shit. Like, dude, I don't know if you've paid attention lately, but like our country is so fucked right now on so many different levels. Like NIL shit is like the one thing they ain't worried about right now. Like there are so many things going on right now.
They want things that are quick wins, and that's not going to be a quick win. If this was 5 years ago, I would have said, they would have taken it up just to show they're doing something. Now, no,
we're 2 steps away from like the National Guard invading Tennessee right now due to shit going on down there. And like, NIL, can Congress fix this? It's not a priority, bro.
Tennessee is doing a lot more of teaching about critical race theory than the AP history. I'm just saying.
No, apparently the state house like missed the memo on that. Apparently,
I mean, it's a yikes moment, and even I'm going with
we're scaring the 2 people away. We're talking politics. Oh no,
we actually gained another person. We're up to 5.
No,
but no, it's you see that it's like. my poli side's going, y'all know you're about to get the feds involved, right? Like, dudes.
Let's see.
But I saw
you had 3 representatives in your state house like take part in this protest, which was bad decorum, and you let the white woman off, but the 2 black guys got kicked out.
Yeah.
You see, I would have respected it more if they kicked all 3 out. It's like, okay, at least you're consistent, but no, you targeted the 2 black guys.
Well, did you see what Nashville said? Okay, we're just going to reinstate him.
It's like,
and the house is going insane over there, and they're like, "There's nothing you can do. You can't kick him out again because you can't kick out the same person for the same thing."
Yeah,
it's in the Constitution part.
Yeah,
no, they can't.
But anyway, that was a whole mess. Well, that's just my 2 cents on that. It's like,
that's fair. But this is important. Though,
they want me to like blue and gold, dude. Yeah, he's a moron. That's all I have to say.
I don't know who he is, so.
He's a dude who takes every baseless rumor he reads and makes a YouTube video of, especially when it comes to conference.
Oh God, it's the YouTube version of the dude. Oh God.
He takes every baseless rumor he reads and talks about it, so he could get clickbait. So he sucks. So he died.
What?
What do you mean?
I don't know who it is.
He's dead.
I don't know who it is.
Holy fucking shit. I mean, that doesn't change how I felt about his YouTube practices. It's like he died Monday? Wow. Well, at least I don't have to see any more annoying videos pop up on my feed anymore. I got that going for me. But shit, he's dead? Like, what happened? Holy fuck.
I have no idea who he is.
I mean, like, I'm surprised I'm not dead, to be honest, with all my shit I've been going around lately with my health. So
the while they type probably what happened, but the important thing, Sean,
I'm sorry if I come off like a dig. I mean, it's just like,
I don't know who he is. Like, I'm sorry.
No, like he would post every single baseless rumor about conference realignment he could.
Like I said, I have no idea who he is. I'm sorry.
Oh, he got septic. He got septic. Ew. That's not ideal.
Poor guy. Like,
I'm dealing with anxiety. That's what I deal with.
Yeah, I mean, septic. Ugh. What?
I'm just imagining all the ways you could get that, and I'm just like,
yeah. Stay clean, people. Stay clean.
Yeah. Wash your hands.
Yeah, wash your hands a lot. I've got to that point a whole lot, and my hands have split.
Oh, dude, we got to talk about like the fake shooter on campus, and how it turned out to be a confetti gun or cannon or whatever.
First, like. We do. And I have actually on my notes for it. And I'm going to say, first off, I'm very, very happy that that's all it was.
See, what was funny to me is that I was in the middle of like being a pretend video game cowboy for the multiple hours that shit was going on. And by the time I checked on it, it was already revealed to be some dude with some person with a confetti cannon or whatever. And it's like, well, at least everyone's okay. And I felt safe enough. Like, it was like, has anyone seen this man on campus? I just posted the guy throwing the confetti gif. It's like, the police would like to talk to you. And it's like, but like, so I'm a little out of the loop. Did someone get swatted?
So according to our president, he said, yes, that OU was a swatting incident. My understanding is no, it was red and gold poppers, and that due to the state of our society right now, which is another topic entirely we are not discussing on live.
Okay, now for those who don't know what I mean swatting, it's a thing where people will call in purposely a fake thing to get someone and just to screw with someone. Like, they will call in the SWAT team on you.
It's happened to YouTubers a whole lot.
Yeah, it happens to YouTubers. Like, thankfully, it hasn't happened to me. I'm not that important. But it's like I saw like all I was like, damn, like I saw the video of all the trucks, and it was like they got a lot of people there, man. Holy shit.
I mean, how many? I think I counted 20, 30 easily between the North and South ovals. I'm like, that's where I said like it's a surreal experience when we're at Van Vliet Oval. Oh shit, that's the South Oval. Like, hopefully this is not what it says it is. Oh, someone got shot in the stomach. I hope that's not the case. And yeah, like that was a scary situation. Regardless,
those confetti cannons you could buy like very easily, and it's like they just. I mean, they're silly little fun things to have. Like I watched I watched a YouTuber today use one for its true purpose, like to celebrate something. I will actually get one of those fucking things if OU like wins a natty. If they actually get to the championship game, I was like, I got it ready. Like, yeah, I'm not vacuuming this shit up. Fuck it. But no, like that whole shit was crazy, and it's like I'm glad it turned out to be a nothing burger, but it was just
me too.
It was let's see, like Joe Harris says Friday's fake active shooter incident was a swatting incident. Okay, so he actually said it was a swatting incident.
Yeah, that's what I just saw too. About 20 minutes
but swatting who?
I guess just the university. All you have to do is call something in. I'm assuming
it was just for OU in general. Like it's some probably. Several calls were made to 911. But okay, so but like from what I understand, it's like you heard what you thought was a gunshot, and with multiple people, like that's not a swatting incident. If people actually legitimately think there was gunshots, maybe with the assistance from the FBI, we have since confirmed this was a swatting incident where callers fake an emergency. Okay, so some people they claim that. According to the FBI, some people were faking her. So,
yeah, I wonder if it was.
You see, here's the thing. Like, there's a lot of like, it is a Zoomer generation thing. And I swear, man, like, TikTok makes people do stupid shit in YouTube.
The brain worms.
It's. Because it's all about this. They have this idea they want to get clout, and they can't process like what they're doing could like lead them to serious jail time and ruin their life. So it's like, I'm glad, like this is one of those times I'm 40 years old. I have no business on TikTok. I don't give a shit about TikTok. I have no reason to watch TikTok. Like I grew, like I've been like, for me, YouTube, Twitter, I use Facebook very sparingly because I only have like I have like with a rare exception for like a handful of people, I have to like know you very well in real life if you're on my Facebook. So for all the people so I constantly get people trying to add me on Facebook. If I don't know you ain't getting past the velvet rope in my Facebook. It is not happening.
This is an exclusive party. It makes me think of the.
Well, I don't do anything with it. Like I barely post on that thing, but it's like I don't. Like, and if I do, it's going to be like I have more anime nerd friends on my Facebook than I do just random OU fans. It's like it's something personal. It's like if I don't know you, if I don't hang out with you in real life, or you're a family member, it's like you ain't getting on my Facebook. So and so it's
but the irony behind that's just funny. It's like you would expect OU. Nope, it's anime.
No, it's like I know people from local cons here and stuff like that. So Blue and Gold dude was 42. Yeah, well, like hey man, I've had recent like health scares, so it's like I'm not saying I'm out of the woods for anything, but I go to my VA appointments and take my meds.
We all hit that ripe old age of 30, and we all just start to decompose. I hit that ripe old age a couple years ago.
Oh, fuck you! I'd kill to be 30 again. You kidding me?
I said a couple years ago. I'm not 30 anymore.
I would kill to be. I wish it was 2012, just turning 30, and I'd have that like, oh, I'm like I kill to be 30 again. You kidding me?
Either way, though, I agree with you. They don't understand the swatting thing, like how much that. Yeah,
if you do not piss off the feds, they will find you and fuck with you. Like I don't understand like why people like do not piss off the Federal Bureau of Investigation because they have other shit that they need to do.
Yep. And then by doing that, like, they're going to launch an investigation. They may find him, they may not, but who knows? You mentioned recruiting, by the way. I wanted to bring this up
I
as well.
mentioned a lot of recruiting.
You did. They released, I think, last week the budgets from each school in the Big 12. Did you see that Oklahoma State only spends like $600,000 on it? It's like, huh?
No, that doesn't shock me though, because
it doesn't shock me either because of the quality of their players.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's that Gundy has always said it's like there's no point for me wasting money or effort to go after some of these 5 stars. They're not coming here. Like he like Gundy is self-aware of that. He's like, for me to win, I gotta build my program in state. I gotta win a couple of like battles that are like, I gotta win some 4-star battles against OU, against a guy they may or may not need. I have to win these battles. I have to like dig deep into the trenches. He knows. So like Gundy may be a goofy son of a bitch and have his like, rants and have his crazy OAN t-shirts or whatever the fuck, but like, he's like, he gets that program up to be decent every so often. But he decided a long time ago, I'm not going after these top 100 players because I can't get them. He just can't.
What about though? Like, don't you think he should spend a little bit more on the budget though?
Well,
like,
that's not his call, and his biggest donor is dead. Yeah. So, Boone is gone. So, I don't know how that's going to turn out, but it's who knows how it's going to turn out when we leave next year. So, I don't know where the path lies for Oklahoma State, but
I mean, I don't either. I mean, no different than the Pac-12, just like they released yesterday.
But it's like, like people make fun of Oklahoma State from the lowest budget, and it's like should it be a little higher? Probably, but that I didn't go ha 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 ha. Look at this. Maybe I did on Twitter for fun. I don't know. I can't remember. But no, it's like when you stop and think about the history, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. Like Gundy has said, like publicly, it's like I can't go after these top tier guys because like what I'm going to go against Ohio State and Alabama for somebody. I'm wasting breath when I could be digging into when I could be looking for guys who are diamonds in the rough I can build my program around. So
I mean, to be fair, if that Jackson State can get the number 1 QB, there's nothing stopping Oklahoma State from doing it.
They didn't get a QB.
The number 1 player, whoever. You know what I'm talking about.
It was a quarterback, and we all know why that happened.
I mean,
Mike Gundy ain't Dion. He ain't prime time, okay?
You're telling me that Michael Gundy is not sorry. I can't even say it. It's funny.
He is not Pro Football Hall of Famer Deion Sanders. No, he is not.
So is why things are going to turn around at Colorado. But I mean, it's the same thing with the Pac-12, though. I mean,
Colorado will be interesting. Here's what people need to know about Colorado. Colorado is going to be interesting this year. That doesn't mean they're going to be good. They will be interesting. There's a difference. Like Texas is always interesting. That's why people talk about Texas. Doesn't mean they're going to be good. So if you could be good and interesting, it's like the perfect combo for sports talk.
Here's the flip side of that. I brought up the Oklahoma State for this reason too. He's going to be competing against some teams that are probably coming from the Pac-12 because Oregon's legislature said, yeah, we can't stop teams from hopping conferences at this point. They let the bill die. Do you think that's an imminent sign at this point? Like, yeah, teams are about to hop again.
I stopped caring about conference realignment for a little bit because the running joke is like this major event is going to happen before the Pac-12 gets a new TV deal.
I mean, now it's in the late summer. It's supposed to be the CW. I'm like, oh boy. Are we going to be before or after the reruns of Supernatural at this point?
Oh man, we're going to coming up after the game, reruns of Superman and Lois. I mean, we're going to have ads for like the Flash or whatever reruns or something. So,
oh god.
Coming up next, reruns of Everwood.
Ooh.
Go way back.
That's sad, isn't it? I'm serious. That's sad. Like, that's where the Pac-12 is at this point. We're on the CW.
I mean,
Yay?
Whatever. I care about that OU is in a conference that matters, that will continue to matter
Forever.
And that's it. So
yeah, because OU is being proactive just like Texas is, and they're thinking ahead and know, yeah, this is not going to be our little place 10, 20 years down the line. It means nothing.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is what it is. Well, anything else, Sean? I mean, we've covered everything that I had wanted to talk about with it. I can't think of other college football stuff. I like having a slow.
It's April. It's April. There's not much to talk about till your spring game. So
it's true. It's true.
We're gonna have one more scrimmage at least probably, and on the 22nd,
yeah,
things will happen. And then
that's where unless you pay attention to like softball and stuff at that point, that's where really
softball.
It's dead until
from Maine to San
Diego. Until what? July with the last Big 12 meeting and everything.
I mean, OU's got they got the game with LSU. Like this upcoming weekend is not ideal. It's not a great series, but the Baylor series is coming up. Got the Bedlam series. It's going to be huge, and which is in Stillwater. So
yeah, but Bedlam doesn't. It's still going to be big, but isn't it now like it's not as hyped since they lost to Wichita State?
Are you kidding? It'll still be hype.
I mean, because it's Bedlam, of course, but
I mean,
but they're still going to be in the conference.
Well, we don't know what the ranking is going to be this week, so you got to like chill on them. I don't know if are they going to drop them up a spot? Okay, like if you want to put UCLA there at 2, it's like all right, whatever. I mean, but I don't know. OU's pitching, man, is just awesome right now. So I just think they can keep up they can keep it up. They're going to win it all, man. Third year in a row. So
I mean, didn't you and Eric both said it? It was whenever they get into the plateau at the moment with their the bats, it's the pitching that saved them, just like against Texas, just like against who's the other one? Y'all mentioned both of them, and yeah, it's the pitching that's bailing them out, especially in their slow starts in the first games.
Yeah, like they haven't run rolled anybody. Like Texas Tech didn't score a single run, but I don't think they run rolled a single game. Maybe one. I can't remember.
To Patty's delight. Has she mentioned anything about the shirt yet, by the way?
No, she's not going to mention that. I'm sure she hates it. I hate it. I hate it because it's like you try to outthink the room and says, we're going to make it sleep eat because you don't eat and then sleep. It's like, God damn it, you idiots. Well, why did you?
Close.
It's a cool shirt, but it's like if you just like leave it alone, like you tried to outthink the room. Like it's eat, sleep, blank, repeat. That is the slogan that people use, and it's like
right, because it can be in any order. It's like we eat the night before, we sleep, we get up, we play the game.
It's not even that. It's like that's how it goes. You had to outthink the room, and it's like it makes me not want to buy one because I would have bought one. I would have bought one immediately. It's like no, it looks stupid. Because like there's always going to be assholes like me who go, isn't it supposed to be eat sleep?
And then they're going to be an asshole back and be like, no,
because that's what the conversation turns into. So
it does.
Yeah. So
Sean, that's all I got.
Can't buy the shirt. Can't do it.
Nope. No, you can't commit. You can't commit, Sean. You can make that as a donation to the university. Put it that way. Sean, thank you for joining tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining tonight as well. Glad anybody who tuned in for us, wrapping up on this Easter Passover weekend. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, hit the notification bell. When we go live. I think, Sean, maybe we'll have something post spring game at this point. That'll be in a couple weeks. But otherwise, it's a slow off season. I like slow off seasons. So again, thanks for everybody for tuning in. Boomer Sooner, only one Oklahoma, and see you all in a couple weeks. Later.